Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this will be another grab bag of volumes I had gotten, and you'll notice quite a bit of these are BL. I've been wanting to slowly expand what few BL manga I have so far, so some of which I've already gone ahead and read, so let's get right into it. Okay, this one's not a BL, but it's cute and fluffy and heartwarming all the same. So, A Sign of Affection, Volume 5. Another easygoing volume between Yuki and Itsuomi as they continue to get to know each other. I was reading this series through the Crunchyroll app, but it's been a little bit since I've read any released chapters, so I couldn't remember where I left off. The beginning of this volume didn't seem familiar to me, but as I went through it, turns out I already read these chapters, but I reread it anyways. So I am getting a little bit of second male lead syndrome with Oshi, like just a hint. Is there anybody else, or am I alone in this? Don't get me wrong, I love the dynamic between Yuki and Itsuomi, but when the story ropes in, you know, the childhood friend with special moments, I'm like, oh, my heart. But anyways, I'm still enjoying this. Art is as beautiful as ever. Next is Blue Lock, Volume 1, with art by Yusuke Nomura and story by Muneyuki Kaneshiro, published by Kodansha. I know many have already picked this up, and I'm one of them now. It centers around the Japanese football union in search of the ultimate striker. And by ultimate, it seems to be through some super high intensity competition to see who is good enough to join the team and who will lose out on that opportunity forever. So from the sounds of it, it's like a sudden death tournament or battle royale, as the summary puts it. I don't follow a lot of sports series besides watching Haikyuu or Free, but I hear some pretty good reviews about this, so I wanted to see if this was another sports series I could get hooked on. Next series is volumes 1 to 9 of the Cardcaptor Sakura hardcover collector's edition. Originally 12 volumes that were reorganized into these 9. I had this on my list to pick up for quite a while now and wanted to wait for a sale before getting it because these are quite expensive without any discounts. But this edition is so pretty, with volume 6 being my favorite because Yue. I appreciate that they're in a larger format, but still thin. It'll make it manageable to read, unlike, say, for example, Silent Voice that comes in 2 really thick hardcover volumes, which, by the way, I did get a notification that the Silent Voice Volume 2 hardcover is available now. But back to Cardcaptors, these come with cute cards within each volume that make a larger image when next to each other, so that's pretty fun. I actually never read the manga, but grew up watching the anime. I remember when my brother and I were kids, we would make props out of crumpled paper, foil, yarn, and tape. We made Sakura's staff and played around with it like I was Sakura. I did rewatch the anime and movies maybe a couple years ago, and it brought such a wave of nostalgia. It reminded me how obsessed I was with the opening song, Platinum. Oh, and all of Sakura's costumes. My favorite is forever going to be her outfit from episode 3 with the watery card. I've always loved that gesture look. But let me know in the comments if you have a favorite outfit. So yeah, pretty excited to have these now to actually read the source material. Next is the BL Classmate Sotsugyo by Asumiko Nakamura for the spring season, published by 7 Seas. I read the first volume, which occurs around summer and autumn. Then after is the winter volume prior to this spring one, which was the only one that I was missing. The art is so fluid, and it's like they don't have any bones. I know it's just an art style, but it's kind of funny because Sajo is described as really bony. But it centers around these two, Kusakabe and Sajo, going into the latter half of their high school career. Kusakabe opts to help Sajo with singing, and over time, which isn't long in terms of manga reading time, they get into a relationship. So this does have an early couple who are very different from each other. Kusakabe is a whirlwind of an individual. His chaotic, carefree mannerisms are really shown through his movements and scattered dialogue. He is also in a band. And then there's Sajo, who's diligent with his studies and more reserved. And from what I've read so far, it's about how they handle the ups and downs of being in a relationship, like being jealous, wanting to be intimate, how to deal with their personal plans for the future. So I'm definitely going to be reading volume 2 soon because I do want to see how their relationship is tested and ultimately develops. This next volume is another BL, Escape Journeying by Ogeretsu Tanaka, published by Sublime. It's a 3-volume series and does have a mature rating, so do take note. I didn't know anything about Escape Journey because I actually got this secondhand in a BL manga bundle from Mercari. The other 3 volumes I got in that bundle will also be in this video. But this centers around Naoto, who reunites with his high school ex-boyfriend, Taichi, on his first day of college. They didn't separate on the best terms, but Naoto is intrigued at how Taichi's matured since their split. It also seems like there will be a bit of a love triangle with a friend of theirs. Not sure who it might be with, but that's just based on the back cover summary. But flipping through it, I really love the art style and pretty curious how the drama and resolutions play out. Next BL is Koimonogatari by Toru Tagura, published by Tokyo Pop. I just started reading this, and I believe it's an ongoing series, but it centers around Yuichi Hasegawa, who overhears Yamato Yoshinaga tell his friend that he doesn't get excited over girls. Yuichi also gets a sense that Yamato likes his best friend, Kyosuke. While self-discovery is a pretty typical aspect of stories in general, this one has quite a lot of Yuichi's inner thoughts, and I'll probably find others the more I get into it, but it's really interesting to read about his initial feelings towards Yamato and how he's kind of protective in a way in order to disassociate with Yamato's sexual preferences. But then there's a confrontational moment early on that takes their friendship and overall relationship in a different direction that neither was expecting. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that is. Moving along to the next BL series, and that's Sasaki and Miyano Volumes 1 and 2 by Sho Harusono, published by Yen Press. These covers and the art are so pretty and in great condition since this was part of that secondhand manga bundle I mentioned earlier. I know this series is pretty popular. A couple of my friends gushed about the anime. It was only a matter of time that I get into it since it's slice of life, romance, and a character who loves romance manga, specifically BL. So it centers around Miyano, who's the BL enjoyer, and ropes in an upperclassman, Sasaki, into enjoying BL too. 2 characters who have a shared interest and a funny premise of Miyano, who finds himself becoming the subject of the material he likes reading. I'm sure there will be some flustering moments along the way. Next is Skip and Loafer Volumes 1, 3, 4, and 5 by Misaki Takamatsu, published by 7 Seas. I was super looking forward to getting these, and Volume 1 was the last one to arrive. How convenient. So this centers around Mitsumi Iwakura, a girl relocating from the countryside to attend high school in Tokyo. As much as she prepared, it seems all of that goes out the window when she actually experiences the big city life alongside some new friends. The series is pretty well received in the manga community, so I'm curious to see what it is about Mitsumi that really drives this story. But my initial thoughts is that this would be a really endearing series with a refreshing female lead. And with an anime adaptation coming out, I'm excited to dive into this one too. Next is the BL one-shot, The Two Lions by Nagisa Furuya, published by 7 Seas. This was the main reason I got that BL manga bundle. I was watching a video from Dana Streams a while ago and was really drawn to the cover art. I have read this volume already, and it centers around 2 men in college, Leo Onizuka and Junpei Shishido, another set of characters that have opposite personalities. We have Leo, who, due to some previous events, is more withdrawn and seemingly unfriendly. He decided to go to a faraway college in order to get away from his past. Then there's Junpei, who is more outgoing, coincidentally recognizes Leo, and then is compelled to help him get out of his shell. It's a cute read and fairly straightforward with these two, but with some struggles in between. Next BL is Until I Meet My Husband, the manga version published by Seven Seas, with art by Yoshi Sukizuki that depicts the true story of and original autobiographical essays written by Ryosuke Nagasaki. I read this as soon as I got it, and it was definitely an emotional one. From Ryosuke growing up and becoming self-aware of who he is and isn't, the resentment that had come along with that, to the struggle of others and family not accepting or supporting him as a gay person, and the times Ryosuke put himself out there in order to find love, but is met with heartbreak. Of course, until he meets his husband. But it's the journey that was pretty moving to read and was beautifully illustrated. I recommend a majority of the things that I pick up, and this is no exception. Some may actually prefer the novel over the manga. I'm personally not much of a novel reader these days, but either way, definitely check this out if you can. Last manga volume is Wandance, Volume 1 by Coffee, published by Kodansha. I also already read this volume, and it centers around Kotani Kaboku, who just wants to hang low and not attract attention to himself, especially since he has a stutter. He comes across Hikari Wanda as she's freely dancing, which eventually inspires him to join the dance club to see if he can achieve that same freedom. And Wanda points out that dancing doesn't require words to express yourself. I thought that was a really nice dialogue insert to tie in Kabuku's struggle with speaking. The art is really amazing, and along the way, during performances, specific songs are noted, so I suggest if you're reading this, or will be reading this, have those songs playing during those scenes. I'll put a link down below in the description to a post someone put together on my anime list of all the songs listed in the chapters, and it also has a link to a YouTube playlist. It's all there for you to get the full experience. So before I wrap up, I did want to share the Dessert September magazine that had come with this blue supplemental volume that contains some up-and-coming mangakas that I had recently gotten from a friend. I mentioned in my last buy haul video that I really wanted a copy of this month's magazine because of the cover, which is from the manga You Are the One I'm Destined to Fall in Love. I absolutely adore this cover and this series, even though it's not super far along yet. I think it has 2 volumes out in Japan, and yeah, this is the cover of the 2nd volume, and I've been following this through translations, chapter by chapter, and the art is I'm so obsessed with Anashin's art this go around, since it hits different compared to Waiting for Spring. Everyone is so freaking stylish, and I think it's because for Waiting for Spring they're in high school, but in You Are the One I'm Destined to Fall in Love they're in college or older. So anyways, I just love this month's edition and can't wait to keep reading the series. So that wraps up another haul. As a side note, I am going to be working on a reorganization video because I'm in desperate need of it. I did get another bookshelf to give my collection some breathing room because right now almost everything is like stacked to the brim. So hope you look forward to that video. I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.